Hello, fellow viewers of my channel, fellow reviewers, fellow studio heads, whatever. 2018 was a pretty good year for a lot of people. For me, it was a bit turbulent. There was some good points. There was definitely some good points. There was definitely some bad points. But overall, it's a very average year. But I say turbulent in a lot of ways, and I'm going to discuss some of this stuff with you. Some stuff that is private, some stuff that is public. I don't know. But first, let's talk about some of the good stuff that happened this year. Some of you may notice, or a lot of you have already seen, my review of Animal House, and in that review, I was wearing my graduation garb, and I graduated from University of Oregon with my degree in cinema studies, and it's great. Now I have a piece of paper that costs me $20,000 in loans, but you know that's the modern American education system, is it not? Just got to take out loans to get knowledge nowadays, but that's just me. So at the start of this year, it started off with a bang, and I never expected it. And what I'm going to say next may seem a bit insensitive because I made that joke, but keep in mind for the person that was involved, he probably would have made that same joke. He was a bit weird like that. At the start of the year, my cousin Jack was murdered, and it wasn't good at all. It was a real downer of the start of the year. He was a good person, and I'm not going to talk too much about it because there's a lot to talk about. Things like the events of the calendar and what's happening next year. But suffice to say, it was a pretty bad time for everyone, and I don't think I put up a lot of videos that month because of that. But for our family, it was pretty tragic. He was the same age I was. He was 20 years old, and he was going to Portland State to become a drug and alcohol monitor, and that's what he was going to do. And I'm not going to go into specifics, but it happened, and life moves on. It was sad. But continuing on, uh, and as I've already mentioned, I graduated, which was great. And since coming back home, it's been kind of a half and half with me. As much as I've been producing content on the channel, and more recently, you've seen my 300th video, and that was the video on Shrek Retold, which I found was a very weird movie. I watched all 90 minutes of that movie, and I just I just thought to myself, that's pretty interesting, pretty cool to see 200 people remake something. So yeah, I've made over 300 videos in total now, and as of this year, I've reviewed pretty much over 200 movies on the channel, which is great. It's pretty great. But since coming back home, I've learned a little bit about myself. I was recently diagnosed about a month ago with sinus tachycardia, which is a heart condition where my heart goes a little bit faster than it normally should, and that can lead to AFibs and a lot of different problems. And it's a bit depressing, to be honest, because I've always been fast on my feet, and I always knew that I was fast, but in that sense, it makes it sound more depressing, to be honest. But I've been taking care of it. Every once in a while, I'll go up to my local gym and take a half an hour walk about a mile and a half, and then do some other exercises. And I've been monitoring it with medication, obviously. That's been kind of a dampener, a little small dampener, to be sure. There's no need to be worried about me at this point. I'm good. I'm taking care of myself. I'm doing great. So let's talk about movies, right? Let's talk about movie reviews in general. This year I've seen over 100 movies, over 100 movies, and by the time I'm finished catching up on all the ones I still got to catch up on, I will have seen around 130 movies. And and this in particular is going to pertain to the best and worst list. So in previous years, I've had to do the best and worst list in two parts and then release them sometime in late January or early February. Although this time around, I think it's going to get pushed to the middle of February, which is great because the Oscars are around that time. So by that time, I will have my best and worst list. And considering my worst list, I want to talk about the worst list. Recently, I saw Chris Stuckman's video on the best movies of 2018, and at the end of it, he was talking about how he's kind of not into making worst lists anymore. And I feel that after this year, I'm going to stop talking about bad movies. Personally, it's because of my health. I don't want to keep talking about bad movies. Like, it's fun to talk about, like, so bad it's good movies, right? Like with The Room or Samurai Cop. But when I talk about the worst movies of the year, I don't have a lot of fun with that anymore. That's part of the reason. But the other reason is that I don't like to get too angry, mostly because, physically, my heart just, I can't do that. But I wanted to try to switch more of the channel in 2019 into more of a positive spin. Because recently, as you might have noticed on my channel, I recently put out a short film called The Interrogation. Now, The Interrogation, I want to talk about that movie. That short film was a collaboration between my channel and YMS, or not Your Movie Sucks, but Your Move Studios, which is a YouTube channel that's run by a friend of mine. And they asked me, hey, since you recently graduated, you have a degree in cinema studies, you've done some stuff on film, you want to do a short film? And I said yes, and that's how I landed a directing gig. We shot it in 2 days, I think. We shot it in 2 days, and and we shot it. We shot it all, and we edited it, and it only cost us around, I want to say it was $50, because the room we were filming that scene in was a place where one of the people from Your Move Studios actually goes to work. It was the basement of this church, so we thought that would be a really cool idea, to just put it in a basement. And then, and the only thing that really did cost us around $25-50 was the pizza and soda that we bought for the cast and crew. And it was a very micro budget film. I didn't have a lot of lights. I didn't have a lavalier mic. Some of the audio, when I was trying to touch it up in editing, it just sounded way too hot in terms of editing. So I tried to find a different take of that and try to splice it together. And our first cut of it is actually on their channel, Your Move Studios. And that was the 1-minute cut, where we were trying to apply for the Film Riot's 1-minute film competition. And then my cut that's on the channel is the actual director's cut, the actual cut that I felt was better, and it actually does include credits and opening title cards. And that's been going around. I've been trying to put that out into various film festivals, which is extremely great because, it's getting all of our names out there. It's getting my name, the people in Your Move Studios, they're all getting their names out there. So far, I've applied it to 7 film festivals. I got 7 more I got to apply to, including later on the Tri-Cities International Film Festival, Portland Comedy Film Festival. There's a lot of other different festivals I could talk about, but hopefully one of those will snag ours and will be submitted, And at 21 years old, that's actually really encouraging if, the film gets picked up somewhere. But if not, we could always try for another film. And that brings me to another thing. 2019 is going to be, we're going to face a lot of restructuring. My channel is going to be restructured a little bit. So for movie reviews in of themselves, I'm planning on doing reviews every 2 weeks. This is because I want to take a little bit more time between reviews to actually work on scripts for short films, so that when I get short films out, it's not cluttered in a whole month of like reviews. You know, it's not in a whole cluster bomb of reviews like with the Interrogation and the 12 Films of Christmas episodes. While those were fun to make, you know, I don't want to do these crazy long review sessions every month. I want to actually spend more time creating more, you know, short films. And that's kind of what I want to do. I'm also working on feature film projects, writing them anyway, and that could take a couple years. But short films, I'm going to try to do at least, I want to say six. I want to say 6 short films a year. So every 2 months, you might get a new short film, and that's my goal. That's my ultimate goal, is to do that. And that also brings me to another project that I have in mind, and this isn't you know, permanent. This isn't something that you know, is actually going to happen, but it could. So I was thinking of doing a project where I go around Oregon, and there's so many films that were made in Oregon, and I wanted to go to the various different set locations of some of the best films that were made in Oregon, and just title it Your Backyard Set, or some filmmaking term for, you know, set locations. And here's what I want to do with this. We're going to start in Oregon, right? But the idea is that filmmakers from across the entire United States will film kind of a small documentary, if you will, of each state, and go to various different locations where, you know, films were made, and talk about some of the history behind it. And then we're going to compile them together in a YouTube playlist. And I think that's a really cool idea. I think that would be an idea that I would like to try to pull off. I don't think it will be fully pulled off, but starting around next year, I want to say January 15th, I'll have a plan out of what I want to do with it, and how much money I need to try to raise up in order to fully accomplish that project. And I want to plan that project for summer, for next summer, because I don't want to do it in the spring, and I don't want to do it in the winter, because I don't want to face rain or sleet or snow. And traveling down the gorge from here, from Pendleton all the way to Portland, is already a pain in the ass with traffic, but added to like snow and rain and sleet is not fun at all. So I'm aiming on trying to execute that project in summer, and just travel around Oregon for about a week or two, or not a week or two, but like a couple weeks, and going to various locations where certain films were made, and just talking with people in the town, maybe historians of the town, and talking about the effects that these films have had on, say, tourism or anything like that. I think that would be a really cool project for not just Oregon, but if I can get more filmmakers or film YouTubers involved in their own home states, we can compile a 50 states playlist and just do that. I think that's a really cool idea. So yeah, I think that's pretty much most of the updates that I have in terms of the state of the channel. So as a recap, every 2 weeks is a review sesh, allowing me more time to make short films. I want to make at least 6 short films next year. No more worst of the year lists after this year, and no more huge, crazy, you know, review clusters. I don't want to do those anymore. So that's going to be it. Oh, I got one more thing. Every month, I want to do something that's entirely special. I'm going to do one film-related video every month that talks about a film and the effects it's had on me. And I've already planned the first couple episodes, but it's going to be once a month, and we're going to do a new film every month. And so you'll have to wait and see what those are every month. But usually I want to aim for the middle of the month every single month. So, yeah. Those are all the updates, and I hope you enjoyed the update video. That was 2018, and I hope you guys have a very safe, very, very party-heavy New Year's Eve party. And here's to 2019, and I can't wait because there's a lot of movies out there, and I can't wait to explore them all. So, I'll see you next time behind the camera, and here's to a happy 2019. Peace.